Alabama or Florida? This is a question we hear all the time.
Should we move to the Sunshine State?
Or the heart of Dixie?
Isn't Florida all old people?
Alabama's full of rednecks and racists.
There's a long list of stereotypes for both states, and some stuff is true.
And a lot of it is total BS.
But one thing that's truer than true is people are moving to both states in flocks. And everyone wants to know which state is going to be a better fit for them.
We're going to share our thoughts on both Florida and Alabama and talk similarities, differences, and compare the two for y'all.
So don't go anywhere. This video might just help you decide on if you should become an Alabamian or
Floridian.
So let's start off with population. The two states are pretty close in size, but as far as the population goes, there's a substantial difference. The 2022 census and the state of Alabama population was right around 5 million, and Florida is 22 million.
Yeah, and with that larger population, Florida is obviously a lot more crowded than Alabama, making traffic worse, which can ruin just about anyone's day.
Florida is a major tourist destination year-round, which comes as no surprise with places like Disney and Universal Studios, Universal being my favorite, but there really isn't an off-season in Florida anymore.
Yeah, that means you'll have to deal with heavy traffic near all of those tourist attractions that Tony just named, crowded beaches and long waits at restaurants most of the year. Sure, you can avoid some of the inconvenience by going out at like off-peak times or by frequenting areas that tourists don't, but who wants to schedule their lives around the tourists?
You've also got the Panhandle, where everybody wants to move to because it's on the Gulf of Mexico, and the emerald green water and the beaches are known for having that white, sugary, soft sand, and all of that makes for a lot of people living there. Yet, on the other hand, Lower Alabama is another booming area that retirees and families alike are moving to. Not to mention, it's far less crowded than Florida and comes with a slower paced lifestyle. And my favorite, a cheaper price tag.
That's right. There are several coastal communities in Lower Alabama that are just a stone's throw away from the Florida state line that give you total access to arguably the most beautiful beaches in the entire country.
I'd say they are.
Yeah, we're biased as we live here, but they are amazing. The Alabama Gulf Coast has Orange Beach and Gulf Shores, like I said, all within 30 minutes of downtown Pensacola. You've got amazing inland fishing in the area bays and the rivers, plenty of golf courses in the area too. Locally, we have numerous Walmarts, Targets, Publix grocery stores, etc. The amenities here are just more than adequate.
Yeah, and you've also got that southern hospitality, let me tell you.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to that soon, but since you mentioned the lower price tag, let's touch on that really quick. Although many of you think Florida as the ideal state to retire in for tax benefits, Alabama actually offers some very similar advantages, especially since it's a cheaper place to live as a whole. Now, although Alabama does have an income tax, it is one of the lowest in the country, and Social Security benefits are completely exempt.
You can actually expect to pay way less in property taxes too, which we're taking like that and as less than half.
Yeah.
For example, a 3-bed, 3-bath in popular Destin, that costs $450,000 and can have property taxes around $4K, right? And that same home in Gulf Shores can easily be around that $1,000 mark. So you have the same amenities, even better schools, and if not, you know, a better coastline. For me, that's a no-brainer. I'll save my money and move to Alabama and add it to my boat fund.
Yeah, a big downside to Florida is the higher property taxes and the HOA fees. Those will kill you. They can really eat up the benefit of having no state income tax. But yeah, the housing prices will be similar in areas of both states, but maybe slightly less on the Alabama side. But then in Alabama, you've got gas, utilities, and car insurance. They're all much cheaper than in Florida. And in case you didn't know, Florida has some of the highest priced car insurance in the entire country, so you need to take that into consideration.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it is.
One thing that just came to my mind though while she was saying that is homeowners insurance. It's gonna be very expensive on the coast in both Alabama and Florida, but with Florida's massive hurricane that just came through, I can only imagine that their homeowners is gonna go up.
Yeah, so definitely get several quotes before choosing a house, because many people realize later on down the road that they can't afford the house because because they can't afford the insurance. We lived it, so.
Yeah, we kind of lived it, didn't we?
Yeah.
We made it work, but that came as a big shocker to us.
Shocker.
And we were already committed and we were in love with our home. So we're definitely forced to make some changes in our spending, or at least, should I say,
Whoa, whoa. Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
someone was forced.
I feel very targeted right now. Anyways, if you want to move to Florida, to a Florida city with a lower cost of living, consider Jacksonville, which falls 9% below the national average, or just move inland to a community like, I don't know, there's one called Brooksville where the cost of living is actually 18% lower than the national average. But for a lot of people, that's not the Florida they want to be in.
No.
That's not why I would move down south in Florida.
They want to be in the Florida Gulf Coast beach, you know, living their beach life where you have palm trees and crystal clear water with access to your boat, and people just living that slower pace.
Right. Jacksonville has a population close to 1 million. It's a huge metropolitan city with a lot going on. It's night and day from the Panhandle, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. It's sort of like how Huntsville and Birmingham or Montgomery are in comparison to Lower Alabama. You have totally different vibes. The larger cities are congested, busier, and just tend to have higher crime rates.
Exactly. People move specifically to Lower Alabama to get away from the hustle and bustle of those bigger cities and live a quieter life down by the coast.
Oh yeah. Okay, staying on track though, Alabama versus Florida, the one thing we have to mention is both states are similar in their political point of views, and they're mostly conservative. Sure, you'll have some areas that are more liberal, especially around those bigger cities like Jess was just naming.
Both states are gun friendly. There are nearly 2 million active concealed carry licenses in the state of Florida, far surpassing any other state, including Texas. So you could say that Florida is a very Second Amendment friendly state. And then over 500,000 Alabamians are licensed to carry concealed. That's more than 12% of the state's adult population. So that's a big chunk of people.
Yeah, and Alabama has joined many other states who have become constitutional carry, aka permitless carry state. So effective January 2023, any person who is at least 19 years old can legally possess a firearm under the state and federal law. So they can carry a handgun openly or concealed without a permit here.
Alabama's constitutional gun carry bill has been signed into law by Governor Ivey.
Yeah, so in both states, pretty much expect to see guns or be in the presence of them. Anywhere we go out, I just know there's guns everywhere. And
yeah,
I like it though. I feel
what it
safe.
is. Both states and the major cities, you'll find people of every age, religion, background, making them melting pots, right? And you also will notice many residents, including snowbirds and transplants from different states who've moved there for the weather or job opportunities and tax benefits.
Yeah, that's so true. In Florida, there's a high probability that you'll need flood insurance as well. So don't forget that.
Yep.
Florida is a peninsula, and a sizable part of the state is definitely susceptible to flooding from hurricanes, surge waters. If you're living in low-lying areas, your insurance company will require you to carry flood insurance, and it is not cheap by any means. So depending on the zone you live in, your flood insurance can cost anywhere from, I don't know, $190 to more than $2,000 per year.
Yeah, and when it comes to flood insurance in Florida, the question shouldn't be, am I in a flood zone? It should be, which flood zone am I in?
Yeah.
Despite how your property is designated on the FEMA flood zone map, all of Florida is in a flood zone and all the owners face exposure from flooding. So you definitely got to check that on the FEMA website.
Yeah, and Alabama will require flood insurance only for certain areas. Basically, all the coastal communities on the Gulf of Mexico and Mobile Bay will for sure need flood insurance. And you're going to want it because with Mobile, Alabama being one of the rainiest places in the entire U.S., along with hurricanes, you absolutely need extra insurance.
And tornadoes, you know, the usual.
Get a lot of water down here.
Both states offer warm weather almost year-round, beautiful coastlines at your disposal, and are very tax-friendly towards retirees.
Yeah, I think it might be safe to say that if you're interested in either Alabama or Florida, then chances are you may be primarily interested in Lower Alabama or the Panhandle. Panhandle is much cheaper and much less crowded than, say, the rest of the state of Florida. However, it is significantly more expensive than Lower Alabama and Alabama as a whole.
We hope this video helps you with your decision on which state might be a better choice for you. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you need anything, give us a call for your real estate needs.
Yep, and we'll see y'all next time.
See you guys.